The sound of laughter stopped the moment her elbow cracked his jaw. The gym went dead silent. Moments earlier it was buzzing, pads smacking, shoes squeaking, men shouting tips at each other, a few girls in the back stretching quietly. Then came the laughter, mocking, loud, directed at her. Nina had just walked in, alone, wearing old sneakers and a plain, oversized hoodie. She looked like someone who had taken a wrong turn on the way to the library, not a place where people trained to fight. She wasn't tall, wasn't bulky, didn't carry the swagger the other fighters had. A group of guys were warming up near the center mat when they noticed her. One of them, Derek, the self-proclaimed champ, smirked. "Lost, Grandma." He laughed, glancing at the others, who chuckled. She didn't respond. She kept walking, calm, collected, like she didn't hear them, or like she'd heard worse 1,000 times before. Coach Ram walked over to her. "You sure you want to join this class?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. She nodded. "You ever done Muay Thai before?" "Some," she said quietly. He looked at her again. Something in her tone, flat, distant, made him pause, but he didn't press. "All right, gloves on. You can warm up with pads." A few eyes followed her as she moved to the side. Her punches on the pad weren't flashy. Her kicks weren't loud. But there was control, rhythm, precision. Only someone watching closely would notice she wasn't new. Derek wasn't watching closely. He was still laughing with his friends. "Let's give her a proper welcome," he said, strapping his gloves. "Coach, how about a light round with the rookie?" Coach glanced at Nina. "You good with that?" She nodded. Everyone gathered. Nothing brought more attention than sparring, especially when someone like Derek was involved. Loud, cocky, undefeated in gym matches, and especially when his opponent looked like someone's quiet cousin. They tapped gloves. The timer beeped. Derek threw a lazy jab. She stepped back. He threw a leg kick. She blocked it effortlessly. A few whistles and laughs echoed. Then he lunged with a hook. That's when it happened. Nina ducked, stepped in, and turned her hip. Crack! Her elbow landed perfectly across Derek's jaw. His body twisted mid-air before collapsing to the mat. Blood pooled from his mouth. His eyes rolled back. 10 seconds. Silence. Absolute silence. Even Coach Ram took a step forward, stunned. He crouched next to Derek, checking if he was conscious. He wasn't. Nina stood still, breathing slow, eyes unreadable. She turned, walked, toward her water bottle and sat down like nothing happened. Someone whispered, "Who the hell is she?" The shock wore off slowly. Paramedics were called. Derek eventually regained consciousness, groggy and confused, his pride shattered more than his jaw. People kept glancing at Nina from across the gym. She didn't meet anyone's gaze. Coach Ram walked over. "You didn't tell me you were trained," he said. "I didn't think it mattered," she replied. He squinted. "Where'd you learn that elbow?" She sipped her water. "Thailand. 2 months earlier, Chiang Mai, Thailand. Nina had boarded a flight with just a backpack and no return ticket. Her life back home was a mess, a divorce finalized, a job lost, and a betrayal that had cut deeper than anything physical ever could. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. No goodbyes, just silence. She needed to disappear. She found herself in a small Muay Thai camp outside Chiang Mai. It was brutal, remote, humid, no Wi-Fi, no distractions, just training, repetition, sweat, and eventually, release. The trainers didn't care about her age or her sadness. They cared if she could get back up, and she always did. Every day started at 5 a.m. Run, train, eat, train more, ice bruises, sleep, repeat. It was during a midnight session, when most were asleep, that she learned the elbow strike. One of the older trainers' preacher stayed back to teach her. He didn't speak much English, but his eyes told her he recognized her pain. "Elbow is not just weapon," he once said, tapping her chest. "Is feeling, is everything." That night, she struck the pad over and over, imagining her pain leaving through every movement. Back in the gym now, Nina could still feel that. Back to present. The whispering begins by the next day. The video of her elbow KO had spread. Someone had filmed it on their phone. It was everywhere. Instagram reels, gym pages, even fight forums. They called her the Silent Storm. Nina didn't post, didn't reply to messages, didn't explain. Coach Ram, curious, now pulled up the gym registry. No full name, just N. Westwood. He asked one of the assistant coaches to search. Within an hour, the results came in, and something didn't add up. Nina Westwood wasn't a beginner. 3 years ago, she had been registered as an amateur fighter in an underground circuit in Eastern Europe. Then she disappeared. No fights, no appearances, nothing. But there was one story. A man missing, a match never finished. A woman gone without a trace. Coach called her to the office that evening. "You fought before," he said. Nina didn't deny it. "You disappeared from the circuit." Still, she said nothing. Why now? Why come here? She looked up, her eyes softer now. "Because I need to be ready again." "For what?" She stood. "Someone's coming, and this time, I won't be the one who runs." They laughed. At her, in Muay Thai class, 10 seconds later, silence. She broke bones to survive before, but this time she might need to break the truth. The gym was quieter now, strangely respectful. Since the incident with Derek, people no longer treated Nina like a rookie. Some avoided her completely. Others looked at her with admiration wrapped in curiosity, but none dared mock her again. Coach Ram watched her more closely now. Every time she moved, there was precision that didn't come from beginner drills. Her posture, her recovery, the subtle shift in balance. All of it pointed to someone who had trained not just hard, but under pressure, under fear. Still, Nina kept to herself. She showed up on time, trained harder than anyone, left quietly, no socializing, no personal conversations, just focus. Until, one night, everything changed again. The envelope, it was nearly midnight. The gym had closed an hour ago. Nina stayed back, wrapping her hands in silence, working on the heavy bag with quiet violence. The only light was from the far corner. Her elbows slammed into the leather with rhythm. Thud, thud, crack. Then she saw it. An envelope. Sitting neatly on her gym bag. No name, just her bag. And the envelope. She froze. The gym was locked. No one was supposed to be inside. She looked around. Silence. Carefully, she opened the envelope. Inside, a printed photo. Grainy, black and white. But she knew exactly what it was. Her, 3 years ago, wearing bloodied gloves, standing over a man who wasn't moving. The back of the photo had a note, still hiding N. Her heart slammed against her chest. She gripped the edge of the photo. So tight it crumpled. She looked around again, still alone. Or so she thought. Flashback. Romania 3 years ago. The underground fight was supposed to be quick. 1 round, bare knuckle. Winner takes the cash. Nina wasn't even supposed to be there. She had only gone to watch. But when her partner was pulled from the match due to an injury, she was thrown in as a substitute. Her opponent, Viktor Chernov, nicknamed the Bear, size 6'4". 240 lbs of muscle and scars, rumored ties to organized crime, no known losses, and absolutely no mercy. The crowd jeered when she walked into the cage, a woman, against him. Victor smiled in that twisted, wolfish way. "She'll last 20 seconds, someone shouted, but Nina didn't back down. The match began. She dodged. He laughed. She struck, fast. Then he landed a blow that knocked the wind out of her. She collapsed, but her mind screamed, "Get up!" The next minute was a blur. He taunted, he grabbed, he whispered something in Russian that made her blood freeze. Something about her being owned after the fight. That's when it changed. Something inside her snapped. She stopped fighting for the prize. She fought to survive. She struck, harder, faster, with the kind of violence that came from deep fear. The final blow, a spinning elbow to the temple, knocked Victor unconscious. He hit the ground, bleeding. But he wasn't just unconscious. He had a seizure, his jaw broken in 2 places. His skull fractured. He didn't die, but he never fought again. And that night, Nina disappeared. Present, a new threat coach Ram found Nina sitting on the locker room bench the next morning, staring blankly at her gloves. "You good?" he asked. She didn't reply. "You look like you haven't slept," she hesitated. "Coach, if someone leaves something in here, when it's locked, who has the keys?" He frowned. "Only me, and cleaning staff." She nodded slowly. Coach noticed the torn envelope beside her bag. He picked it up and read the message. His face changed. "This from someone you knew?" She nodded. "You want to talk about it?" "Not yet," she whispered. Later that day, she made a call from a burner phone she kept hidden in her apartment drawer. The man who picked up had a gravelly voice. "Took you long enough?" "It's happening again," she said. "Victor?" he asked. "I don't know. But someone left a photo." There was a pause. "Nina, listen to me. If they've found you in the open, you need to leave. Go dark again. I'm done running. You don't understand what these people are. He may be out of the ring, but his brother isn't." She went cold. "His brother? Alexei, he was there that night. He blamed you for what happened. Rumors say he swore vengeance." Her throat tightened. "He's worse than Victor ever was," the voice continued. "If he's here, Nina, it's not just about a fight anymore." The stranger at the window. That night, Nina slept with her lights off and her baseball bat next to her bed. She didn't sleep long. At 3:17 a.m., she heard a sound, barely a whisper, like the shuffle of shoes on gravel. She peeked through her window. A man stood across the street, tall, wearing a dark coat and hat, not moving, just watching. Her pulse spiked. She turned away, then looked again. He was gone. No footsteps, no car, just vanished. Coach Ram's discovery. While Nina tried to hold herself together, Coach Ram did some digging of his own. He searched Viktor Chernov, found old underground fight blogs, read comments, rumors. A few mentioned a brother, Alexei. One blog claimed Alexei had been a fixer for illegal fights across Europe. Quiet, ruthless, deadly. Then he found something else, a surveillance photo from 2 months ago. A man matching Alexei's description at an MMA event in Las Vegas. Another photo, last week. In a gym, their gym, Ram's heart pounded. He picked up his phone and called Nina. "Nina, where are you right now?" "Home, why? Lock your doors, someone's been here. And I think it's Alexei." Silence. "Are you safe?" "No," she said. "But I'm not afraid anymore." Nina's decision. The next morning, Nina walked into the gym wearing all black. No hoodie, no disguise, just fire in her eyes. Coach Ram met her at the door. "You sure about this?" "I ran once. I won't. Do it again. You can't fight him alone." "I won't have to." She walked past him straight to the center mat. She placed her bag down, took out the photo, and pinned it to the gym wall. Then she grabbed a marker and wrote beneath it, "I'm not hiding. Come find me." Everyone stared. No one said a word, except one man, new face, sitting on the edge. Bench. Watching. When she caught his eyes, he smiled slightly. Alexei Chernov had arrived. Sometimes the loudest threats are spoken in silence. And sometimes your past comes not to haunt, but to finish the job. The gym felt colder than usual. Even though the sun was up, a heavy tension hung in the air like a storm waiting to strike. Everyone at the gym had seen the photo Nina pinned to the wall the day before. No one touched it. No one dared remove it. Under the photo, written in bold black marker, were her words, "I'm not hiding, come find me." Some thought it was gutsy, others thought it was suicide. Only Coach Ram truly understood what this challenge meant. It wasn't just about Muay Thai anymore. It wasn't about pride or reputation. This was war, and Nina had just lit the match. Stranger in the gym. He came in the next evening, wearing black joggers, tight-fitted thermal shirt, tall, muscular, sharp jawline with a neatly trimmed beard. A man who looked calm, but dangerous. He signed in with the name Alex, didn't give a last name, didn't need to. Nina spotted him immediately. He didn't approach her, just sat near the back wall, wrapping his hands, eyes focused like a sniper. Watching a target, calm, still waiting, Ram walked up to her quietly. "That's him, isn't it?" he asked. She gave the slightest nod. "I want to believe this ends without blood, Nina," he whispered. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I stopped believing in peaceful endings a long time ago, Coach. Shadow sparring for 2 nights. Alex came to train, didn't talk to anyone, didn't start fights, didn't even look directly at Nina, but his every movement screamed threat. He shadow-boxed like a machine, no wasted steps, no sloppy footwork, pure discipline. He was watching her, learning her rhythm, preparing, and Nina knew it. She trained harder than ever. Her body ached, her wrists were bruised, but she pushed through because when it came, it would be fast, brutal, and final, an unexpected visit. 3 nights later, as Nina locked up the gym alone, she found someone waiting outside her car, a woman, mid-30s, slender, pale, eyes dark with sadness. Nina immediately stepped into a fighting stance. "I'm not here to hurt you," the woman said quickly. "Then say what you need to fast." The woman hesitated. "My name is Katya. I'm Alexei's sister." Nina froze. Katya stepped closer. "I followed him here. He doesn't know I'm in this country, but I had to warn you." "Warn me?" "He's not just here to fight you, Nina. He's here to destroy you. Publicly, physically, completely." Nina stayed silent. Katya continued, her voice trembling. "When Victor was hurt, Alexei lost everything. Sponsorships, investors, family reputation. But it wasn't just about the fight. It was about what Victor became after that night. A broken man. I didn't ask for that," Nina said coldly. "I fought to survive." "I know," Katya whispered. "But Alexei doesn't care. He believes you shamed his brother in front of the world, and shame in our family. It must be paid in blood." The deal: the next morning, Ram received a letter at the gym desk. No envelope, just a handwritten note. 1 round, 3 minutes, no rules. She walks in, only one walks out. Tomorrow night, midnight, abandoned ring, District 12 warehouse. Ram crumpled the note in frustration. "This is insane," he said. "This isn't a fight, it's a setup." "I know," Nina said, wrapping her wrists. "Then why go? Because if I don't, he'll keep coming. Or worse, he'll go after people around me." Ram paced the room. "He's not Victor. He's smarter, colder. Which is why I'm going to end it." The warehouse. The air inside the District 12 warehouse was thick with dust and tension. It smelled of rust, mold, and old sweat. A makeshift ring stood in the center under flickering industrial lights. No crowd, no noise. Just 2 people. Nina walked in slowly, hands wrapped. Hair tied back, Alexei was already inside the ring, stretching his shoulders. He looked at her with that same silent calm he'd worn since the first day. "I thought you wouldn't show," he said. "I don't run," she replied. He nodded slowly. "Neither do I. The fight begins." There was no bell, no referee, just movement. Alexei came fast. First step, low kick, feint with elbow, textbook precision. Nina dodged, countered with a side kick, then ducked under his spinning hook. Their movements were a brutal dance. One mistake could end it all. Alexei was heavier, stronger. But Nina was faster, smarter, and desperate. She struck with speed. Low. Jab, elbow to his ribs, spin out. He caught her ankle mid-kick and slammed her to the ground. She gasped as her back hit the mat. He loomed over her. "You humiliated my brother," he growled. "Now I return the favor." He swung down. She rolled away just in time, jumped to her feet. She hit him with a flying knee. He staggered, but he wasn't done. The twist suddenly. Shouts from the doorway. 4 masked men entered, guns drawn. Katya followed, eyes wild. "Alexei, no!" she screamed. "They found you!" He turned sharply. "What the hell are you doing?" "Here. I followed them. You were set up. This wasn't her plan." Nina stood frozen, breathing hard. The men surrounded the ring. One shouted in Russian, "You made enemies in Moscow, Chernov. You ran. Now we collect." It wasn't about Nina anymore. Alexei wasn't here to destroy her. He was here because he was running too, from his past, just like her. The alliance in that moment, everything shifted. The man who had hunted her now stood beside her. And the enemies that entered weren't there for sport, they were here for blood. Nina didn't hesitate. She launched herself off the ropes, kicking one man's gun out of his hand. Alexei tackled another. Together they fought like cornered wolves, fast, brutal, desperate. She elbowed. He headbutted. They used every ounce of training. 5 minutes later, the warehouse floor was a mess of groans and bruises. The men ran off into the night. Nina and Alexei stood in the center of the ring, panting, covered in sweat and silence. The truth, Alexei sat on the edge of the ring, breathing hard. "You didn't destroy Victor," he finally said. "He did that to himself." Nina looked at him surprised. "I came here to kill the ghost of that night," he said. "Turns out you're the only one who faced it head on." She nodded. "No more war?" she asked. He smiled bitterly. "No more war." They shook hands. Enemies once, survivors now. Sometimes it's not the punches that break you, it's the truth that finally lands. The video spread faster than wildfire. By sunrise, the warehouse fight was already circulating on fight forums, private Discord servers, and even a few shady YouTube channels. The camera caught everything from the brutal strikes between Nina and Alexei to the sudden ambush by the masked men. And right at the center of it all was Nina Lee. No one in the video called her by name, but those who knew Muay Thai, those who remembered the ghost from Bangkok, recognized her instantly. She was no longer a mystery. She was now a target. TM. Ram's phone rings coach. Ram hadn't even finished brushing his teeth when his phone buzzed violently on the bathroom counter. Missed calls. 37 new messages, all from gym members, other coaches, even reporters. He opened the top message. "Is it true? Nina Lee is alive? Was she hiding all this time?" Then came the second. "Check YouTube, she's trending." Ram's stomach twisted. He rushed to his laptop, opened the video. There it was, grainy footage of Nina elbowing a gunman in the jaw before spinning into a clinch with Alexei. It was raw, violent, and viral. He grabbed his keys and rushed out the door. Nina's apartment. The knock on Nina's door was hard, fast, and familiar. She opened it. Ram stormed in. "You're everywhere," he said, voice shaking. "You were. Careful for 2 years. Why throw it all away now?" She didn't answer. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I didn't leak the video," she said softly. "I didn't even know it was being filmed." Ram stared at her. She looked calm, too calm. "I've been running for years, coach," she finally said. "Maybe it's time I stopped." Flashback. 2 years ago in Bangkok. The memory came, like a knife in her chest. The fight, the scream, the silence. She had been 24, undefeated, hungry. The Bangkok Championship was supposed to be her crowning moment. Viktor Chernov had never been knocked down in his life. And that night, she didn't just knock him down. She left him unconscious for 3 full minutes. No one expected it. Least of all, Nina. But the victory turned to horror when Viktor suffered a brain hemorrhage 3 days later. He survived. But barely. He never fought again, and his powerful family, once international sponsors of the sport, turned all their wrath on Nina. She fled, changed her name, lived in shadows. Until now, the offer later that day, Nina got a message through her gym's front desk. A letter, actually. No stamp, no signature. Just 5 words written in elegant cursive. "You deserve the truth. Tonight, 9 p.m., alone." And an address. She recognized the street. It was near the docks, the same place where she had once trained under the now-vanished Master Rin. The meeting at exactly 9 p.m., Nina walked into the abandoned dockyard. No weapons, no backup, just her, standing. Near the water was Katya, Alexei's sister. She looked exhausted, but there was something in her eyes, resolution. "I owe you the full story," she said. Nina crossed her arms. "Start talking." Katya looked down. "You weren't the first. My brother, Victor, he wasn't just a fighter. He was an enforcer for our father's private business. When you knocked him out, the family didn't just lose a fighter. They lost their favorite weapon." Nina stiffened. "What do you mean?" Katya stepped closer. "They sent others after you, Nina. Alexei was the last. But before him, there were two others." Nina's blood ran cold. "I thought I was just fighting ghosts," she whispered. "You were," Katya said, "but they were real." The setup, Katya handed her a small USB. "There's something on here, footage, conversations, emails." Nina took it silently. "This will prove Victor's collapse wasn't just from the fight. He had a previous head injury, undisclosed, ignored by his team." Nina's eyes widened. "You're saying he was already damaged before I touched him?" Katya nodded. "He was warned not to fight, but our father insisted." "No retreat," he said. That was the family motto. "Even if it killed us." Tears welled in Katya's eyes, and it almost did. The broadcast 2 days later, the world changed again. Nina uploaded the footage from the USB to a private journalist she trusted, an ex-fighter turned investigative blogger. Within hours, the story spread. Viktor Chernov's injury was covered up before the fight. Sports networks picked it up, medical records surfaced, and for the first time, Nina wasn't the villain anymore. She was the scapegoat, finally set free. The gym's reaction back at the gym. People looked at her differently now, not with fear, not with judgment, but with something new, respect. People whispered her name with reverence. New students asked to train under her. Even rival gyms sent messages of support. Ram watched it all unfold with quiet pride. "You didn't just fight them," he said one evening. "You faced the entire story." Nina nodded. "It was never just about fists. It was about truth." One last fight. The gym hosted a special exhibition match 2 weeks later. It wasn't for money, not for pride, just a reminder to everyone watching that Nina Lee was back. She stepped into the ring under full lights, cameras rolling. Her opponent, a rising young talent named Maya, 20, fiery, quick. The match was clean, technical, beautiful. 3 rounds, no knockouts, no drama. Just skill. Nina won by decision. But it wasn't the victory that mattered. It was the silence afterward. Not one laugh, not one insult, just claps. Real, genuine respect. The lesson after the match. A young girl approached her outside the gym. Couldn't be more than 13. She was shy, holding her gym gloves. "You're really strong," she whispered. "They said girls can't fight like that." Nina knelt down. "People will always say what you can't do," she said softly, "until you show them exactly what you can." The girl smiled. Nina ruffled her hair, and just like that, the torch had passed. Epilogue. Weeks later, Nina stood at her old home's rooftop. She looked over the city. The wind was calm. No more hiding, no more ghosts. She was no longer just the girl who knocked out Victor. She was no longer a fugitive fighter. She was Nina Lee. And the world finally knew her truth. Final words. Some scars stay, but they don't define us. What defines us is what we do after the bleeding stops, the end.